Hello, and welcome back to my channel. It's that time of the year again. We made it halfway. The mid-year freakout tag is a list of questions done at the end of June to go over the first 6 months and freak out about the next 6 months. As of filming, I not only have half the month of June to go, but also a weekend camping trip. At this point last year, I read 31 books, and I've been in such a reading slump that I've only read a third of that. So let's get into these questions. Best book you've read so far in 2024, not including the few high-rated rereads to get me out of the reading slump. I would have to say Wendy Ice's At the End There Was You, the first in the Blue Fairy Tale series. This is a fantasy romance novella about the world ending in 7 days. Winter is a priestess. Her life is simple and uncomplicated, but shortly takes a turn when she is appointed as an aide for a mage who intends to stop the god of death from spreading the plague that would end their world. Both of them begin searching the library for answers and find more than they bargained for. This is a sweet and sad story about life and death. Best sequel you've read so far in 2024. I've only read one sequel, and it was a reread, so that is by default my best read sequel. The Last of August by Brittany Cavallaro, the second in the Sherlock Holmes series. This is a young adult mystery retelling of Sherlock Holmes. In this one, Jamie and Watson are in a chase across Europe to untangle a web of shocking truths about the Holmes and Moriarty families. Biggest disappointment. To be honest, my biggest disappointment this year has been the sheer lack of books I've managed to read. The few books I did manage to finish were decent, earning at least a 3-star rating from me. While they didn't blow me away, they provided an enjoyable experience. If I did have to pick a book, it would be The Lady Rogue by Jen Bennett, because I did think the plot was weak and it didn't have a thought-out storyline near the end of the book. This is a young adult fantasy romance about Theodora embarking on an adventure with her father's protege, Huck, to rescue her missing father. Armed with his travel journal, they uncover clues leading to a legendary ring, rumored to possess magical powers. Their quest takes them through Gothic villages and dark castles in Romania, where they face a dangerous occult society also seeking the ring, willing to commit murder to obtain it. Biggest surprise. On the flip side of that coin, because everything I read was either a reread or an average 3-star, I didn't have any surprises. New favorite author. I also don't have a new favorite author. The few new authors I read from, I'm not gonna run out, get their newest release or their backlist. If I see something from them I do want to read, fine. But if not, it's not gonna keep me up at night. Book that made you cry. I did end up tearing up with one of these books. More surprisingly, it was with a reread that I didn't cry with the first time I read it. C.M. Owens's Becoming a Vincent. If you watched last year's video, I talked a little about the sequels, but for whatever reason I actively teared up. This is a friends to lovers low-stakes novella about a woman who lives in a small town where the internet is slow and the men are bearded, and she falls in love with her best friend, despite the risks involved. Book that made you happy. Surprise, surprise. It's also the book that made me the happiest. Not only because it's just a feel-good story. I reread it during a time where I was going up from a reading slump. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. With this one, I'm gonna go with The Once and Future Duology by A.R. Capetta. This is a queer, gender-bent King Arthur retelling. I mostly picked these up because of the covers. New release you haven't read yet, but want to. The sixth and final book in the Jane Letting mystery series, Grave New World by Gina Showalter and Jill Monroe came out. This is about a cemetery owner, Jane seemingly finding bodies wherever she goes. Another ongoing series is the Wayward Children series by Shannon McGuire, with the ninth book, Mislaid in Parts Half Known. This series follows the story of Eleanor West School for Wayward Children, a boarding school for kids who come home from portal fantasy worlds and try to adjust to their new, ordinary lives. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Well, if I go with the only book coming out in the next 6 months on any of my Goodreads shelves, it would be My Salty Mary, co-written by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. This is the third, and I think final book in the Mary series that follows famous Marys throughout time. This one is said to be a mix of Pirates of the Caribbean and The Little Mermaid, about the lady pirate, Mary Read. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I have books on my physical bookshelves that I've had almost a full decade. The Something Strange and Deadly series by Susan Dennard ended in 2014. The Gold Seer trilogy by Ree Carson ended in 2017. And I also have random digital copies of some books that I was able to get cheap a few years ago that I haven't even thought about since then. Well, once again, this video may have been short, but that was my mid-ish year freak out. Again, I know it's early. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know any of your answers to any of the questions. I'll have them down below. And if you want to know more about the books I've read so far this year, I'll have the playlist to the TBR Bingo down below also. The next one is coming out in a few weeks, so keep an eye out for it. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye, 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 goodbye.